Hello, my friends. It's been a long time since I've posted on here, and I'm just trying to be prayerful and mindful about what is it that the internet needs that I need to put on there. And last summer I recorded a bunch of videos that we may or may not see about me playing and experimenting with some tomatoes. And at least right now those are on hold. But I think today I'm going to talk to you about food forest. So last January, God started talking to me about building a food forest in my backyard. And I was really excited because I've wanted a food forest for at least a decade. And while the land's not mine, I'm the steward of the land until I'm not the steward of the land. And I had to get some permissions, and they were like, yeah, sure, just don't change anything new in the house. And I was like, that's not my plan. And so I'm really excited, and I'm like, ooh, I'm going to plan out this food forest, and yay, I'm going to have a food forest. And I start doing some research, and I start looking, and I'm like, this is how I want it, and this, and I'm all excited. And then God's like, hold up. I want you to not spend any money on your food forest. And so that really confused me, because at least the way that I was raised and trained, you make a plan, you spend the money, you work real hard, you get it in there, you get the food forest, then you continue to work really hard. And that just wasn't the plan that God had for me. And so I was confused, and I was like, how do you want me to have a food forest if you don't want me to spend any money? And I already said I was confused. I called my sister. I'm confused. I'm like, God says he wants me to do this food forest, but I can't spend any money. And I don't, how do you do that? And she's like, well, we're just going to have to walk this out. And didn't help me. I was mad and angry, and he's like, just tend the land. Tend the soil. So I was like, okay, fine. I did have some tools, some, just little gardening tools around. No major tools. And so I went ahead and I started tending the soil. So there was this big tree, and it was a weed at one point in time, and my grandma had given it sanctuary, and it had grown up, and it was blocking the light from the backyard space, and it needed to come down in order for any light to be getting to the bottom of the garden. So I went ahead and I just had little handsaw, and I started cutting it down. I was like, this is the first thing that needs to go. It's in the way. Nothing can grow here until this is gone. And so I cut it down what I could. And then it was just a hot mess. There's branches everywhere. I really couldn't have access to any of it. Any of the yard. I felt like I fell a bunch of steps backwards. And my sister's about 45 minutes away from here, and I don't know if she saw it or what, but she's like, I have a power tool. Well, my husband has a power tool. You guys, you can borrow the power tool. So next time I was over there, I went and he showed me how to use it, and I brought it back, and I got the chop down, and I separated, like, these are the sticks I think I can use for something else, and these are just the, this will just be composted back down to the soil. And I created 2 spaces on either side of my yard, just for, just to be left alone. Basically, God can do whatever he wants to with those 2 spaces, and all the critters that want to live in there, they can live in there. And I have a friendly family of spiders that live in there now, and I throw my compost and stuff out. And so it's been a lot of fun, and God's really been showing me a lot of spiritual truths through this food forest unfolding. And I'm not going to bring many of those to you today, but I just wanted to let you know that stuff is coming. I told you in one of my last videos that I've been really stuck, and it was really driving me crazy. And but this last fall for some of y'all, it was like I had to say it 3 times. I don't know, right? They say 3 times the charm. I'm not sure what happened. I know I told my counselor once, I told my niece, and then I told my nephew. And it was just like, poof! The sky opened up. And anyway, what I had said was, I played all my cards. I put all my chips in. I sold everything I had when I left Seattle. And the only thing I can do now is to wait for God to play his cards. And it was like the 3rd time I said it, it was like he's waiting for me to get this. I don't know. It's been 7 years. Oh my God. So I'm just here being a little dork for 7 years trying to figure it out. And he's like, no, that's what I needed you to figure out all along. And so anyway, since then, it's been super fun. Excuse my voice right now while I get excited because I've got COVID. And my sister's like, why does God have you in quarantine? And I'm like, I have no idea. But apparently, I'm in quarantine now because now's the time I'm going to take to make the videos. And so, anyway, things have finally been moving and I'm finally excited. And I'm still working on stuff. My poor counselor, she's like, you're a little bit slow. She didn't say that, but that's what I feel like. And so, anyway, he's been giving me messages for myself, but also for other people. So I'm hoping that those are going to be able to cut on. And then also, he gave me a meditation. I think this is the meditation that I needed to have before he's going to release me, to release some of the rest of that information. And I'm not going to include it here, though. I'm going to include it next. It's just a meditation, so that you can listen to it just a meditation and not my ramblings and fun unfoldings of life. So there we are. We're all here just doing life, and so things are moving. Like, I just got back from Vegas, which is how I got COVID. And I started a spiritual book club because I've got friends all around the country, but we're not here together, and that's created some of my strife. And so anyway, God showed me how to be able to connect with these people that I have fostered relationships with, and that just started, but we had a really good time. And so I don't want you to think that just because COVID is here and just because it feels like the world is shut down, it doesn't have to be. Thankfully, we have technology and we have people, and we can be reaching out and we can be connecting. And if we don't have anybody to reach out, then this is the perfect time for us to be like, okay, God, like, I'm trapped in my house, so I need you to tell me, And so I don't know why it took me like a million years to figure it out, but he started having me every morning when I wake up. And I ask God to fill me with his love for me. And then I ask him so that I can feel his love for me, because they are not the same. Because he does love me all the time, but that does not mean that I can feel it. And then I've been asking him to give me some to share. And through that, I don't know what anybody else thought of me, but I feel like a totally different person. And so if I can encourage you to either take that or take a piece of that and say, how does that work for me? Then I would like to do that, because my life is way better since I started doing that. And if I in any way can help any of you, then awesome. Okay. I hope that you're doing well enough, and that everything can start moving forward for you. Okay. Be blessed.